Devolution of powers, revenue sharing, the Nigerian Bar Association on zoning, those are some of the issues we're discussing on this episode of Law Weekly. The security challenge and the need or not for decentralization. My guest, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olisa Agbakoba, makes some compelling submissions on all of these issues. The program is Law Weekly on Channels Television, and I am Shola Shieli. Now, there were reports in the media that the national conference had been extended for a period of 6 weeks. The Secretariat has denied that report, but with the conference taking the whole of the week off because of the World Economic Forum, many people think that it's only a matter of time before there is an extension. One of the committees that may require an extension is that on the devolution of power. They had an interesting session last week, and it's all captured in this next report.
The Committee on Devolution of Power had hardly started its meeting when journalists were told to leave for a few minutes. When the meeting opened a few minutes later, the committee found it difficult to agree on some issues.
Our position is that we have not developed anything. We have 68 items on the exclusive list. And it was very difficult for us to be pushed innocuous and unimportant 6 items to the concurrent list. Unimportant. 6. It is so bad. And we are sitting down here. As a matter of fact, let me say this openly. Our position was to pull out of this conference. It's getting to that. And I will not append my signature to anything done by this committee. Because we have not done anything that justifies my being here to the I will not append my signature to anything here. Because you have not developed anything. Put my signature. Anything done here. I'll tell you that. The problem we're always having, some people will be here when we take decisions, and they'll come here and they'll roll us backwards. I take exception because
I have I did. Okay, shut up. Will you shut up?
People like you who want to go to this level, you work in the street. If we're in a different society, it's not the kind of society which we are. We are part of this level, and you have the necessity to be happy. Where were you? Where were you? Go and protest and let us see whether you can be a councillor. We cannot sit here, crack our brains, come up with very good decisions, and somebody will just come and say he wants to. If you want to work up, nobody will force you to come here. You came here on your own volition. You are not brought here by handcuffs. You came here with your own legs, with your free volition.
Make your point.
And if you feel you cannot be here, that's the business.
Make your point.
Concurrent list means that the state and the federal government can share responsibilities. If you feel that the state can do better than the federal government, set up their own responsibility in the state and make them centers of excellence. What the federal government can also do. So as long as it does not stop the state from establishing their institution.
The committee then went into a closed-door meeting for the rest of the day. While the chairman refused to speak afterwards, some delegates told us how the meeting went.
No, we are not nearing any agreement. Please, you better take note. We are not nearing any agreement. We have 2 distinct positions.
And then a new dimension that has come up now is that while discussing this item 39, we must take it also with the question of revenue allocation, that is the revenue sharing formula as it were. And so these issues, by the proposal of the chairman, is that by tomorrow we should all come together with a joint position on it. And we must say that the issues remain a little bit contentious, but somehow we are making some headway.
My guest, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Olisa Agbakoba, is a delegate at the conference. He belongs to the Committee on Law, Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Reforms. But like so many people, he has very strong views on devolution of power and revenue sharing. In this interview, we talk about all that and more. There's a proposal from the conference secretariat to extend the conference. Do you think that that extension is necessary?
It's not true. It's because next week is off for us, given the fact that Abuja is hosting the Davos conference. So there was some confusion whether we would have enough time to finish, but it's not official. But there's been no proposal by the secretariat.
So there's no extension yet?
No, I didn't say there was no extension, but I said that there is no proposal by the secretariat. This rumor arose because we're on break next week, because Abuja will be very crowded with the World Economic Forum. So some people felt that there's a need to extend.
But if we remove that 1 week of the World Economic Forum, do you think that there's a need for an extension?
But I would rather not have an extension. I'd rather say we should just work hard to get things going. For instance, all committees are working by email all next week. Once you start extension, there's no end to it. I'd rather say that when the conference has finished with its reports, I would like to see the conference dissolved and the reports of the conference now carried forward by a small technical committee.
Now, I know you sponsored an 18-page bill which has been sent to the National Conference. The bill seeks to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by creation of the States Court of Appeal, introduction of federal and state legislative list, and recognition of 6 geopolitical zones in the country. What has happened with that bill?
I initially prepared it for the National Assembly, but I thought it would be useful for the National Conference. Now, as you know, there's a committee on devolution of powers, and that is the sexy committee, the juicy committee. Everybody wants to be on that one.
Yes.
And the positions are absolutely contradictory.
Yes, because we've heard that there were fights. And also
there were no fights. You media guys like to exaggerate. There were no fights, but there were hot arguments. The North is against regionalism. It prefers the federating units to remain the 36 states. I'm not sure what has been decided about the constitutional status of local governments. So that's neither here nor there. But personally, it ought to go. The Southwest is strong on regionalism. The North prefers 36 states to be the federating units. The Southeast has no clear position. Some want regionalism, others want 36. So I propose a hybrid. It's very important that we all understand that we can only succeed at the National Conference on the basis of consensus, not voting. We are both married. No court can compel you to be married to your spouse. So it's consensus.
You have to agree.
You have to agree. Both sides must agree. That's what's going to unlock Nigeria's energy. So why don't we then say those states that want regionalism can practice it, so that we have 6 geopolitical zones now recognized as a matter of fact. In fact, all government policy drives around these 6 geopolitical zones, but it is not constitutionalized. So simply insert it in the Constitution and allow any zone that wishes to create economic, political, and judicial institutions around its zonal structure to do so. That ends it. So those who don't want can use their various states. All this will require a careful discussion at the level of the Committee on Devolution. And I hope that all sides will...
But as it is, there's still...
Oh, no, absolutely.
And except, like you say, they'll reach a consensus.
It's not going to work. There must be a consensus.